Welcome back. I'm so happy to be back together with you guys again. I want to thank you so much, everybody. I personally have received such a great response from my friends and family. We've received such a great response, and I'm having such a great time sharing and really sharing what we do. And I wanted to get back with you to give you kind of. I really feel in my heart. I wanted to talk about the intangibles of what you get from taking the products. You know, tangibles. There's difference between the tangibles and the intangibles. The tangible things that you receive from products are things that you could touch, things that you can measure, literal things, physical, literal things that you get. The weight loss, inches that you can measure, your blood sugar regulation, you can measure that. You know, those are tangible things that you certainly get with these products that you can measure, which I'm so excited to do a 90-day results or a 90-day testimonial. I'm so excited that I'll be doing that next week because next week I hit 90 days. I'm so excited and I cannot wait to share that with you. But today I wanted to talk about the intangibles of what I have received, and I'm looking forward to talking with you personally, sharing with that, because a lot of things I share on the video, but so many of you have called, we've had conversations, and I love getting back in contact with you and talking about it and sharing more and hearing your story and really kind of connecting at that level is so special to me. I love it. Thank you so much for reaching out to me, and it's been a pleasure talking with you and hearing and connecting like that. And I hope that we continue to do that, and I hope more of you reach out to me to do that. I wanted to talk about the intangibles. Now, the tangibles are stuff that they could put, they're going to put on the label, things that you put on the label. Those are things that you can see. The intangible things are something that I'm not sure if that gets mentioned enough, but I wanted to mention it to you. One of the things of the intangibles, so first let me share with you, between 2013 and 2016, I was barely there. I was barely surviving. I was barely doing the bare bones minimum between 2013 and 2016. I had enough in me to get up to go to work, and I would come home, and it really took everything in me just to make it through the day, just to be, as much of Gabby as I could, working. Other than that, I didn't do anything on the weekends. I didn't, participate with my children as much as I wanted to, hardly any at all. But it really started in 2010 to 2012. I was still, I was hanging in there. In 2010 to 2012, I was hanging in there. I was doing as much as I could, but by the time I got to 2013, I exited. I actually told my husband, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I'm not going to, I can't do this. I'm not going to work this year. I don't know how you're going to do it. We revamped our entire life in 2013, and my husband really took the whole brunt of it. And so just to share with you just that little bit, now taking the products, or basically what happened to me was, whatever happens to women over 40. What happens to women over 40, for those of you that are women over 40, you know exactly what happens. It happened to me in a big way. And so I had a really hard time dealing with it. And, you hear women talk about all these things, these supplements, or I found this tea or this ointment or these oils or this or that. None of that made sense to me, and I really couldn't wrap my head around that stuff. I never tried it, but so I don't know if it works or not. I never tried it. But I never got a hold of where to do that. I tried a couple things, but it didn't make any bit of a difference in me. It didn't change anything within me. And so of course I stopped taking that. So when I started taking the Plexus products, the intangible things that occurred to me, one of them was I started to feel happy again. I got my happiness back. I got my physical happiness back. The joy, I always had joy, and joy is something that I of course I had. My joy comes from within. Of course, my joy comes from knowing that I'm a child of God. My joy comes from my testimony. I have an unshakable testimony of my Heavenly Father. I have an unshakable testimony in the fact that I know that my Redeemer lives, and so forth. I mean, that I have a strong testimony in that, and that's where my joy comes from. And you can have joy and be in a coma, but nobody sees it. Is what I'm saying. Like, that joy comes from within. My physical outward happiness, I got back with that. I was able to be outwardly happy, and that affected everything. It affected with my children. It affected my life with my children. So I got my happiness back, and then the thing that followed that is I was able to go now participate in my children. I was able to now start to take my daughter to school. Take her to practice, take her to her different functions. Where before it was just if I was the only one that she was counting on, she wasn't going. It was just flat out, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take you. I just didn't want to leave. It's so bad to say, but she didn't go, or if she had to get a different ride or something like that. But since I got this back, I've been able to take her. I've been able to be more involved. My husband just told me the other day, because I felt like, wow, I've just been gone so much, and we were talking about it, and my husband says, babe, but you know what, babe, you have to realize is you're doing so much more now. And he brought it to my attention. He says, you're doing so much more now, where before you wouldn't do that. Now you're taking Bella here, you're picking her up, you're picking up her friends, you're taking them here, you're picking her up, you're taking her to a party and so forth, shopping for her things that she needs. I've pretty much been doing that. And that feels amazing. That feels really, really wonderful for somebody that hadn't been doing that. The other thing that has happened is my mood. I have a good mood demeanor, which I've always had all of my life. All of my life I had a good mood demeanor, just a demeanor of a good mood. And I got that back. I have a good mood about myself. I was never grouchy. I'm not a grouchy person, or I'm not I wasn't a bad mood, but I just was very down, just down and out. I was just very drained, just very down. That's the only way that I could describe it. It's not that I was in a bad mood. I was just out. And when I would take my daughter like that, I was just a zombie in the car. In the car, I was just a zombie, drop her off, a zombie when I picked her up, come straight to my room. Things like that. And now I have a different mood about myself. And one of the phone calls that I've had recently, speaking to somebody, talked about that. This person shared with me about, just their mood, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Just the mood is different, and that really plays a big burden for us, especially as women. That we're trying to raise children, we're trying to be happy wives, we're trying to create a happy home. And it creates a big burden when we're not in a good mood all the time, when we're being run by our hormones, when we want to try so hard to be happy, to be a good example, to be a mother in a nice way, and to be controlled by our mood just really puts a damper on us and brings us down. And I'm very happy to say that that's not the case anymore. Now I'm happy, I'm in a great mood. And excited to do things. The other thing that's happened to me is I'm feeling motivated now. For those from 2013 to 2016, my husband will try to talk about the future. My husband will try to talk about, we have a goal to do this, or we want to, let's talk about getting this or buying that or whatever. And I would stop him. I didn't even want to talk about it. It was just too much for me. And I hope that somebody out there, I hope that it's reaching somebody that you could relate to, because it was too much for me to think about that. It bothered me. It made me cry, because it muddled my brain too much to think in the future. So, my poor husband wanted to talk about the future. And for me, I told my husband very specifically, I said, I right now, it's enough for me just to make it through the day right now. It almost makes me want to cry. I don't want to cry. It almost makes me want to cry, because I distinctly remember I would tell my husband, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to be mean, but it's enough for me just to make it through the day right now. I don't want to think about the future. It's stressing me out. I don't want to think about that. I just want to make it through the day. You don't understand how much focus and how much concentration it takes for me just to get up and to go to do the things that I absolutely have to do, and then race back where I could feel like, okay, I made it back home and safely. I don't know if you can understand that. I don't know if there's anybody that could even relate to that, but it took everything in me just to do those things. And when I finally would get back home, I felt like, okay, I made it. Hurry up and close the door. I just want to be home now. And so now what's happened to me is I'm motivated again. Now what's happened to me is I can see into the future. I'm excited to see into the future. I can't wait. I want to do this and I want to do that. Most of you guys, you know that I'm getting my real estate license. I was able to take my classes where before I couldn't even imagine taking them. I was so afraid to start to take them because I was afraid that I would be overcome and I wouldn't go and it would be a waste of money. So I'm in the process of doing that right now. I'm so excited about that. So I'm motivated. I'm motivated to do things. I'm motivated to look into the future. I'm motivated to see what are we going to do with this, with our lives and so forth, from this point on. The other thing that's happened is that I'm inspired. I have been inspired. It's such a blessing. I cannot explain to you how wonderful it feels to be inspired to, by me taking these products. Before I started taking the products, as a woman over 40, once again, these things happen to us. All the weight around my waist, I would see it, but it didn't even occur to me. I just said, okay, well, whatever, that's going to happen. It doesn't matter, whatever. It is what it is. It was my attitude. It is what it is. I'm okay with that. I didn't feel like I needed to exercise. I didn't want to exercise. It didn't matter to me. And when I went to the doctors and they told me that I had high cholesterol, high triglycerides, borderline diabetic, at that point when I started researching it, one of the signs of that is that women over 40, women have that fat around their waist is a good indicator. Don't quote me, I'm just telling you what I Googled. It's a good indicator that you have high triglycerides, high this and high that is there. And so one of the things that is said is, get rid of that, and that's a good indicator that it's going to lower the rest of the things by getting rid of all that belly fat. And still with that, I said, there has to be another way. I just wasn't inspired. I wasn't motivated to do anything about it. Now that I'm taking the products, it was about day 45, I got up from my bed. I go, getting ready to take a shower. Of course, you get dressed, and I look in the mirror, and I said, what? What in the world? And I started to see it, and I said, wow. I just saw, it was just not so swollen. It wasn't so puffy, whatever the word is. It wasn't so round. It was just so much, further down. It was right around day 45. And I said, wow, I took pictures, I sent it to my daughters, and I was like, wow, I sent it to my sister, and I'm not going to post it, but I sent it to my sister, to my daughters, and I was just so excited. I didn't even think that was going to happen to me. It wasn't even on my mind. I wasn't even looking for that. It didn't even occur to me that was going to happen. I wasn't interested at all in losing weight. I didn't want to lose a single pound. And when that happened to me, I felt, wow, that's amazing. And then right around, I don't know, remember maybe after day 60 or so, after 60 or whatever, I looked at it because it was like 10 or 14 days later, again, even more. And it just keeps on happening. And so that has inspired me to get my weights. I have my weights. My husband went and got me my yoga mat. I've been doing my little exercises in my room. I'm working. That has inspired me to get better. It's inspired me. I'm working on my arms and things like that. I'm inspired now. It's not that somebody's telling me, oh, you have to exercise, although we do, but I just from the inside I feel inspired to do it. Nobody has to push me. I'm looking forward to doing it, and it feels so amazing doing my squats. I mean, shoot, it's like, oh, I haven't exercised in such a long time, so it was hard, but it feels so awesome to be able to do that. That's not on the label. That's not on the label. It doesn't say all those things on the label. Are you kidding me? They'd have to wrap a journal around it to be able to tell you what it does, and they don't do that on the label. That's the reason why we have videos. That's the reason why we have awesome people sharing and caring and pouring their hearts out to you, so that you know, because by reading the labels, you're not going to see that this is what it does, right? I'm telling you the honest to goodness truth. And why has it inspired me? Because it's been so easy. Now, I don't want anybody to think like, oh, it's easy to lose weight or whatever. I mean, my story isn't that I want to lose 50 pounds or 60 pounds. That's not what it is. What I'm talking about, easy for my husband too. My husband has lost 20 pounds. I'm so happy for him. And it's been easy for him, easy for me from the standpoint of this. Before I started taking these products, it was so hard for me to stay away from sugars. It was so hard for me, almost impossible for me to stay away from sweets. I wanted sweets because it's very easy for me to eat it. Long story, but it's very easy for me to eat sweets. They're soft. things like that. You know, it helped me to keep weight on it, just for just different reasons. I ate sweets every single day. Every single day I ate sweets as a means of putting something into my system. And candy. Candy, I love, to eat candy. So it's really hard for me to stay away from that. But once I started to take the Slim and I started to take these products, it is easy now. It is easy for me to stay away from sweets. It's easy for me to stay away from candy. Do I still eat candy? I do. If I go to the movies, we'll get a candy. But I don't eat candy nowhere near how I used to. Do I eat sweets? I still do. Minimal, very, very minimal. Maybe once a week on the weekend or something like that. Very, very minimal sweets that I eat, and it's easy for me to stay away from it. I'm not craving it anymore. That's why I'm inspired, because it's easy. And my body's saying to me, wow, we could do this. We could do this. What am I talking about? I could do it. So when something becomes easy for you, you get excited. Your belief goes through the roof. Your belief system goes through the roof. When you feel like you're doing something easy, you say, wow, if I was able to do that, how much more can I do? Which is what's happening to me. If my stomach is going down by itself, imagine if I do a little bit of sit-ups. Imagine if I do a little bit of those 7-minute workouts in the morning. Imagine if I do that every day. Imagine if I do it 3 times. Like, your imagination starts going wild, and you could do it. And that's how your belief system goes through the roof. You do it and you do it and you do it, and eventually you're like, man, this is getting easier. And that's what's happening to me. And those are the intangibles. See, that doesn't say it on a bottle. You're not going to see it on a bottle. Those things are now becoming easy for my husband. It's becoming easier for him now to say no to foods. See, the 20 pounds that my husband has lost, that's real weight lost. He really, really lost that weight. If he decided to stop taking these products, he wouldn't gain it back in a week, because his body really lost it. Right? He didn't starve his body. The reason he lost the weight is not because he starved his body. He did it the right way, from inside out. And those things are not on the bottle. See, those things, that's why you got to watch videos. That's why you got to, hopefully you're listening to this, and hopefully it's penetrating there somewhere, because it is phenomenal what is happening to us. These are the intangibles. My happiness, that is priceless. Right? The happiness that I feel, that's priceless. The inspiration that I feel, that's priceless. That does not come on a bottle, right? One of the other wonderful things that has happened is I'm enjoying my husband so much. We enjoy each other so much more. We're both happy. We're both working on our goals. We're both working on our future. We both are eye to eye on this. We're both working on that, and we're so excited, and we're excited to move forward on that. And I hope that you get excited. I hope that you want to get a taste of these intangibles. Keep watching, keep communicating with me, message the person that introduced you to the products, message the person that maybe tagged you in this video, message them, talk to them, pour your heart out to them. You'll see how much in common that you have, and get a hold of these intangibles in your life. I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to hear how these things are affecting you in your life. I'll see you on the next one.